Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you who are new here, my name is Liz Sampson. I am a massage therapist, a mind-body pain management practitioner, and a yoga instructor. Today we are going to move through a bit of a warm-up, a little bit of a strengthen, kind of skills-based series, and then we'll move into a flow that we're calling Warrior in the Trees this week. So I'm so glad that you are joining me today. If you have any questions, suggestions, you would like to work with me either virtually or in the office at Mountain View Movement and Massage, reach out and I would love to hear from you. Let's get connected. For our warm up today, we are going to just start from the head and work all the way down. So we're going to start by just tipping the head back and forth and forward and back. We're not looking for a stretch. All we're looking for is some movement. Let's roll into some neck rolls, making sure to go both directions. Kind of tipping the head forward, starting to move into a little bit of a stretch. And from side to side, ear to shoulder. Tipping our head back, we can play with our jaw a little bit when our head is tipped back, playing with this platysma muscle. Next, we'll move into some shoulders. So coming up into a cactus arm and just pressing the arms together, pushing out. And again, all we're doing is looking for some movement. We're not necessarily looking for any stretch or strength here. And next, we'll tilt the hands down and back up. All we're doing is waking all these muscles up, getting everybody online. Next, we'll raise the hands up and press them all the way behind the back, rising them back up, behind the back. Next, we'll go in front and moving all the way back out, sweeping the arms. We want to think about nice smooth movements, warming up all of these little muscles. Next, we'll have the arms out to the side and just moving in little circles, both directions. We'll start spiraling into some larger circles. Spiraling back down. Switching directions, starting with little circles. Spiraling nice and big. And coming back down to these little tiny circles. Nice job. Give it a little shake. Shake the hands and the wrists out. Next, we're going to move into some wrist rolls, making sure to go both directions. Giving a little stretch. Again, making sure that we're stretching those joints all kinds of directions. All we're doing is looking for a little stretch, a little movement, just looking to warm things up. And taking this time to really check in with our body, seeing how things are feeling, where our mind is at. Not looking for good things or bad things, just looking for information. And today we're going to be doing quite a few balance poses. And so I have a few kind of activities, exercises, tips and tricks to kind of activate that cerebellum. It's kind of our movement check and balance in the brain. So to start with, we're going to place our hands together and we're just going to move one set of fingers at a time. And so I'll come a little closer. And so all we're doing, hands are together and we're just taking one set of fingers like so. This is a great way to connect the mind to the body. This is also a great exercise if you are maybe dealing with some anxiety, and a seated kind of still meditation feels a little too much, adding some of these movements is a great way to get the mind focused on the present. If this feels really easy, try doing 2 or 3 or 4 at a time. Another exercise we can do is clasping the hands and quite literally just twiddling the thumbs. Again, lots of little movements, big impacts on the brain, and great little movements to add if a seated, very still meditation feels a little too much right now. These are great things to practice. Next, we're going to move into some cat-cows, just starting to warm up the spine a little bit. So we want to be in a nice seated position, feeling those seat bones grounded into the mat. And all we're going to do is round the back, pressing forward, almost like we're hugging a ball, and then pulling and pressing the chest up and out, opening the shoulders, and moving back, and pressing up. So we're just moving that spine. Next, we'll move into some side bends, placing a hand on the mat and just reaching over. We want to find lots of length through this side body, keeping that spine nice and long, head and neck nice and tall, and switching sides. As we're in these side bends, we can kind of play with where our arm is, having it forward a little bit, having it back a little bit, framing the face, kind of playing with where that stretch sensation feels, and giving ourselves, again, a little bit of information. Some of these sensations and stretches, they're not good, they're not bad, they just give us a lot of extra information about our bodies. We're going to move into some twists, and so just twisting around, staying nice and tall through the spine and the chest and the neck, almost as if somebody had a string and was pulling you nice and tall. Looking over the shoulder and switching sides. We'll do this 2 more times. Staying nice and tall. Looking over that shoulder. Maybe even playing with some eye movements, looking even further. Giving the brain a little bit of extra stretch. And last time. Give it a little wiggle. Kind of starting to move these hips a little bit from side to side. Maybe finding a little intuitive movement. We'll place the hands on the knees and push forward into the knees, giving a little bit of a stretch to the left and the right. Here we're looking for a little sensation in this front shoulder here. Doesn't have to be a really extreme stretch. We're just here to warm up and kind of wake the body up. Next, we'll move into a seated forward fold. So legs out straight in front of us. Give them a little wiggle. And here we can arch the back, coming around. And here we can grab the feet, maybe behind the knees. If these forward folds are uncomfortable, we can take a blanket. We can also take a block or a bolster and place it under our knees. If you don't have any props, don't be afraid to take your fists and just place them under your knees. Kind of alleviates a little bit of that tension through here. For rounding around, we can grab onto the toes and the feet, give them a little bit of love. Pulling the toes towards us, pointing them away, just warming everything up. Taking a few moments to really check in with our bodies, giving a little inventory to what sensations we're experiencing, what emotions we're experiencing. Just a little information mining. Next, instead of rounding over, we're going to hinge at the hips, keeping the back nice and flat, and just coming all the way forward. This changes that stretch just a little bit. These little tiny alterations, bending versus hinging, changes those stretch sensations just enough. All right, give it a little bit of a stretch. Next, we'll move into a butterfly, pressing the feet together. And here again, if this feels a little too unstable, don't be afraid to grab onto the knees. You can also take some blocks, place them under here so you feel a little bit more supported. And here we just want to kind of play with this, moving forward, maybe pressing the knees down a little bit. We're looking for a little bit of a stretch through these inner thighs, these hip flexors. Don't be afraid to be a little curious in some of these kind of warm-up positions to kind of learn what kind of sensations we're feeling, what maybe feels really good, what maybe feels, oh man, this leg is a little tighter than the other one. Again, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just information. Next, we're going to move into some more twists. So we'll have one leg out straight, crossing the other leg, and just giving this crossed leg a little bit of a hug. Here we're looking for some sensation in kind of the glutes, this outer hip area. And again, staying nice and tall through the back and giving a little bit of a twist. Taking a few moments to really sink into this leg that is crossed. And unwinding, straightening that cross leg, and switching sides. Pulling this cross leg into the chest, staying nice and tall and strong through the back. And again, you may feel, ooh, this left side is maybe a little tighter. Alrighty. Alrighty, for our strength portion of today, we are going to start laying on the mat. All we're going to do is take a block, placing it between our knees here, and we're just going to move the foot out and back in. These little tiny movements. So what that is going to look like, on our backs here, legs up, ideally at a 90. If it feels better to have the toes up a little higher or a little lower. We just want to make sure that we're finding some challenge, but we're not here to hurt ourselves. And in this, we want to keep the pelvis tilted a little bit so we're feeling our spine on the mat. We'll place the block between our knees and just move one leg out and back in. Other leg out and back in. And we'll do this for a few rounds. You can do one leg at a time. You can try both legs. With this movement, we are looking for control and strength. They don't need to be big movements. We want quality. Staying nice and strong. And 3, 2, 1. And release down to the mat. Nice job. Next, we are going to move into some leg lifts, kind of some fireflies. So what that is going to look like, we will have our legs out to the side like this. And all we're going to do is point the toes and lift. One leg at a time. For a little added challenge, we can lift the leg over each block. And again, with this movement, we are looking for control and strength. They don't need to be giant movements or anything. We just want lots of control and stability. We're looking to build a little strength in our legs, in our core. And we're just going to alternate from one leg to the other. You can also play with this a little bit by changing the feet. So instead of having the toes pointed, you can have them up, just giving a little bit of a raise. This is quite challenging, but good to play with. Trying to figure out what feels good, what feels challenging, playing with where the hands are placed. Nice job. Give it a little bit of a shake out. Shake off anything we don't need. Finally, we're going to do just some, they're similar to tricep dips, but we're really focusing on these scapulas. So we're going to have a block on either side of our thighs, hands on the block, and we're just going to press all the way up. And instead of doing a tricep dip, where we are up and bending the arms, we're simply depressing at the shoulders here. So we'll be up here and we're sinking back down to the mat. Let me try and, so butt all the way up and sinking down, not moving the arms. We're just focused on the shoulders here. And we want to really focus on some strength between the shoulder blades here. So I'll show you that from the back. Arms straight, dipping down. And we can also do a tricep dip variation if that feels a little bit more attainable today. So with that, we're bending at the elbows. Both great exercises. Again, little movements, lots of control, lots of stability, lots of impact. So we'll do just a few more. Really warming those shoulders and that back up. Maybe feeling a little bit of a burn in the triceps and the forearms. We'll move on to some standing. Alrighty, for some of these standing ones, all we're going to do is have one foot on the block And you can point the toes. And all we're going to do, you can kind of see I have a nice straight line with my shirt here. We're just going to dip these hips. And if it feels better to keep a toe and just press down so your feet are nice and flat, come back up onto your toes. So you can kind of see these hips are moving just a little bit. We want to do both sides. What I love about these blocks is they're a little squishy, adding a little bit of a challenge for some of that foot and ankle stability. If these blocks don't feel great or you don't have any, doing these hip dips on a set of stairs are great because you also have a hand railing. We can also play with some of these standing ones. We can go in front and dip down. Here we're going to bend the knee just a little bit. We can also go behind us. And again, all we're doing, little movements. We're really focused on moving these hips and a little bit of strength in this foot and ankle. Balance is something that we use throughout our lives, and we want to really focus on maintaining it. Alrighty. All right, so for today's sequence, we're calling it Warrior in the Trees, and between each kind of flow, we'll do a sun salutation. So I will take a few moments to kind of show you the sun salutation as well as the sequence in a little bit of a slower motion so you know what to expect and kind of how to do some of these different poses. If you would like to skip that, I will put something here for you to see. So skip to this timestamp and I'll meet you there. So for our sun salutation, we're just going to start in a nice strong mountain pose. Feet are rooted into the mat. And we're starting at the top of our mat here, but I'm going to face you. So we're going to inhale, reaching the hands up. Going for a nice side bend to either side. Sweeping the arms down, meeting in a forward fold. Giving ourselves a half lift. Going back into a forward fold. Placing the hands on the mat, stepping back to a nice high plank, finding strength, and slowly lowering down. Flipping the toes, lifting up, opening the chest, keeping the elbows sucked in together, releasing back down to the mat, flipping the toes, pressing up into downward facing dog, finding some strength and some stretch, maybe pedaling the feet, and stepping or hopping forward, meeting the hands and the feet in a forward fold, inhaling for a half lift, exhaling for a forward fold, inhaling, sweeping the arms up for an upward salute, and exhaling, meeting in mountain pose. So that is a sun salutation. Our next series, called Warrior in the Trees, same thing, starting at the front of the mat. We will go into a Warrior 3, so I like to keep a block at the front of my mat. So we will start in a mountain pose. Again, nice and grounded, nice and strong. Lifting the arms up, inhaling, and on the exhale, we're going to step back into warrior one. Staying nice and strong here, pressing into that front foot. We're going to sweep the arms behind us, perhaps clasping them and hinging forward, tipping the crown, tucking the head for humble warrior. We're going to inhale, rising all the way up, windmilling this arm around for warrior two. Inhaling for a reverse warrior. And windmilling the arms all the way around for a crescent lunge. Finding some strength in that front leg. Next, we're going to release, straightening this front leg a little bit, moving the hips, and we're going to come up onto this front leg, staying nice and strong and long, reaching the arms out forward, and playing with some balance here. We want to think about getting all the way up here, but if this feels strong and stable, that's where we're going to stay. And we can practice by lifting this back leg and tapping a little bit. And to release, we're going to release the arms, hinge all the way up, dragging that toe forward, coming up into a one-legged mountain pose. And again, we can practice some of this balance by raising this foot up and down. And I'll face you so you can see a little bit better. And we're in this one-legged mountain pose, one-legged Tadasana. We're going to press this leg out, bringing the foot to this strong leg here, raising the arms for tree pose. We may have the leg up really high. We may have the leg all the way down here. We can keep the toes on the mat. We can have the arms all the way up. They can be out to the side. It might be a little bit of a windy tree today. And then from here, we'll move into Holy Fig. And so this free leg will go out behind us. And same arm will go out to the side. I'll show you that from the side as well. So we're going to start in this tree pose here. And to move into Holy Fig, we'll press this leg back and this arm out to the side, tipping forward a little bit, finding some strength and a little grace, a little beauty for this Holy Fig, and releasing back to the mat. I will roll through this one more time on the other side so you can see, and then we'll move into our sequence. So again, starting in mountain pose, upward salute, stepping back for warrior one, hinging forward for humble warrior, releasing and windmilling around for warrior two, moving into reverse warrior, windmilling all the way around for extended side angle here. And then we'll release the arms, shifting the hips, straightening this leg, and moving up into warrior three. When we're in this warrior three, we want to think about having a nice flat back here. If we had a plate of food back here, we want to keep it nice and balanced so we get a snack after our practice. And to release, we'll hinge back up, dragging this toe, moving into one-legged Tadasana, pressing this free leg out to the side for tree, raising the hands and the arms, and releasing and moving into Holy Fig. And releasing back down to the mat, giving a little bit of a shake. So that will be our sequence today. Don't be afraid in this Warrior 3 to use these blocks for some balance. We can also, in this tree pose and this holy fig, this free leg doesn't need to be off the mat. We can have the toes either pointed or at an angle. Same thing in the holy fig. Don't be afraid to play with touching the toes, finding some balance, a little bit of feedback. And when we move into this Warrior 3, when we're here, playing with some of this balance a little bit. Alrighty, we will move into our sequence for the day, Warrior in the Trees, followed by a Shavasana. Starting at the top of the mat, grounding through the feet, settling into our breath, raising the arms up, moving into a side bend the other way, releasing into a forward fold, half lift, forward fold, stepping back for our first chaturanga, finding nice, strong arms, lifting up, releasing back to the mat, flipping the toes, pressing into downward facing dog, taking a moment to pedal the legs out, finding some connection to our mat, coming up on the toes, stepping forward, meeting the hands and the feet, forward fold, half lift, forward fold, sweeping the arms all the way up, upward salute, stepping back with the left leg, meeting in Warrior 1. Hinging forward, clasping the hands for Humble Warrior, tucking the chin, tilting the crown, releasing the hands, sweeping all the way up and around for Warrior 2. Inhaling and stretching back for Reverse Warrior. Releasing all the way around. Crescent Lunge. Releasing the arms, straightening the leg. Moving up into Warrior 3. Settling into that strength, into that balance. Hinging up, releasing, dragging that toe, moving into one-legged Tadasana. Pressing out and into tree. Finding some nice deep roots here. Staying connected to our breath and releasing into Holy Fig. And releasing all the way down to the mat. Shaking out that right foot a little bit. Regrounding. Resetting. Meeting in mountain pose. Inhaling for another sun salutation. Moving through a side bend, each direction. Hinging for forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold, hands on the mat, stepping or hopping back. And lowering ourselves all the way down to the mat. Flipping the toes and pressing up. Opening that chest. Releasing back down to the mat. Flipping the toes and meeting in downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling the feet out a little bit. Coming up on the toes and stepping or hopping up to meet hands to the feet for forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Rising all the way up. Hands to the sky. Stepping back with the right foot for warrior one. Hinging forward. Moving into humble warrior. Releasing, sweeping the arms up and around. Moving into warrior two. Inhaling for reverse. Sweeping the arms all the way around for crescent lunge. Finding some nice long lines here. And releasing the arms, shifting the hips, sending the arms in front of us, framing the face and coming up for warrior three. Staying strong and grounded through that left leg. And hinging up, releasing, dragging that toe up for one-legged Tadasana. Raising the arms, pressing out for tree. Staying connected to the breath, releasing, pressing back for holy fig. And releasing back, shaking out that left foot, meeting in mountain. Resetting, regrounding. Inhaling and moving up for upward salutes, moving into some side bends. Sweeping the arms down, meeting in forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Placing the hands on the mat, stepping or hopping back to a high plank, and slowly lowering ourselves down. Flipping the toes, pressing up, maybe a cobra or an upward facing dog. Releasing back to the mat, flipping the toes and pressing up. Meeting in downward facing dog. Raising that tailbone up to the ceiling, coming up on the toes, and stepping or hopping to the front of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. And exhale, stepping back with that left leg, meeting in Warrior One. Really settling into that front right foot. Hinging forward, tucking the chin. Sending the arms back for Humble Warrior. And releasing, swinging the arms around, meeting in Warrior Two. Pressing back into reverse. Windmilling all the way around for Crescent Lunge. Releasing the arms to the front of the mat, shifting our pelvis, and stepping up into Warrior Three. Staying nice and long through this right leg. Hinging forward and up, dragging that toe, meeting in one leg Tadasana. Raising the arms, pressing that left leg out for tree. Staying connected, staying grounded. Pressing that left leg back, left arm to the side for Holy Fig. And releasing all the way back down to the mat. Give it a shake. Big deep breath. Shaking what does not serve. Inhale. Arms to the sky. Moving through a forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Hands to the mat, stepping back for a high plank. And slowly lowering ourselves down. Pressing up. Releasing to the mat. Flipping the toes and meeting in Downward Facing Dog. Up on the toes, stepping or hopping to the front of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Half lift and forward fold. Slowly working our way all the way up, arms to the ceiling. Stepping back with the right leg for Warrior One. Hinging forward for Humble Warrior. Must be windy in here. Inhaling, windmilling around, meeting in Warrior Two. Releasing for Reverse Warrior. Waving the arms all the way around, meeting in Crescent Lunge. And releasing the arms to the front of the mat, straightening that front leg, pressing up and into Warrior Three. And slowly releasing, dragging that toe, meeting in one leg Tadasana. Raising the arms, pressing out for tree. Settling into our balance. Releasing that right arm out to the side. Right leg out behind us for Holy Fig. And releasing back to the mat. Shaking everything out. Maybe taking a few big sighs. Releasing all of that stuff that might arise through our practice. Taking a moment to check in with our body, with our mind, before we move into this last sequence. Grounding into the mat. Taking a moment to inventory toes all the way up to your nose. Simply observing, just looking for information and not labeling anything as good, not labeling anything as bad, just checking in. And as we move through this last series, maybe finding a little gratitude for the strength of our bodies, for the balance of our mind, for the connection to our breath, and for the opportunity to have a few moments focused on connection and a beautiful yoga practice. So we'll raise the arms up, moving through our side bends. Sweeping the arms around, meeting in a forward fold. Half lift, forward fold. Pressing the hands to the mat and stepping back for a high plank. Lowering down. Flipping the toes and pressing up. And releasing back to the mat. Flipping the toes. Pressing up into downward facing dog. Really pressing in through your hands. When you're up on the toes, stepping or hopping forward, meeting in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching all the way up, stepping back with the left leg for warrior one. Hinging forward for humble warrior. This last round we may find a little bit more depth. Releasing, windmilling all the way around for warrior two. Moving through reverse warrior. Coming all the way around. Crescent lunge. One last deep breath. Before straightening that front leg, twisting the hips back to neutral, straightening the leg, coming up into warrior three. Staying nice and long through this right leg. Hinging at the hips, releasing the arms down, dragging that toe all the way up to one leg Tadasana. Inhaling, pressing that left leg out, arms to the sky for tree. Perhaps it's a windy tree. And pressing that left leg out behind us, left arm to the side. Nice and tall, finding some grace, finding some gratitude, And releasing to the mat, shaking it out, meeting in mountain pose, regrounding, resetting. Inhaling, upward salute, side bend. One more. Moving through a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, pressing the hands to the mat, stepping back or hopping back for a high plank. And moving through one last chaturanga. Flipping the toes, pressing up, and releasing to the mat. Flipping the toes again, pressing up for downward facing dog. Coming up on the toes, stepping or hopping to the front of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms up and around, stepping back with the right foot for warrior one. Releasing, hinging forward, clasping the hands, tucking the chin for our final humble warrior. Releasing, sweeping the arms up and around for warrior two. Moving through a reverse warrior. Coming all the way around for our final crescent lunge. And releasing the arms, sending them forward, resetting the pelvis, straightening the front leg, and moving up into warrior three. And hinging at the hips, releasing the arms, bringing that right leg up, meeting one leg Tadasana. Inhaling, pressing that right leg out to the side, meeting in tree. And pressing the right leg back, right arm to the side for holy fig. And releasing to the mat, shaking it out a little bit, meeting in mountain pose. Taking a few big breaths. Bringing the heart rate back down. We'll release, coming down into a seated position. Legs out in front of us. We'll give it a little bit of a shake. The arms, the legs, the feet, the hands. We just moved through quite a series. So give your body a little bit of love. Maybe move into a forward fold, pointing the toes, flexing the toes. And all the way back up, bending the knees. We will move into our Shavasana. For this, we can be on our backs, legs out straight, hands to the side, palms up. You can have the hands on the belly and the chest. We can move into a reclined butterfly pose. We can also take a bolster here, placing it under our knees, and a block behind our head. As we move into Shavasana, to think about filling our lungs and our bellies with each breath and emptying completely. Taking a few big diaphragmatic breaths. Noticing the cool air as it comes in through our nose, and the warmth as it exits our mouth. As we move back to our natural respiration, to think about sinking into the mat, slowing the breath, slowing the heart rate, slowing the mind. Finding some gratitude for the strength of our bodies and the resilience. Finding gratitude for the joy of our day. Letting that feeling of gratitude grow. As we move through our final meditation to Shavasana.